A lot of young children today want to become a part of the consulting world. But for our unversed viewers, can you tell us what is consulting?
So consulting uh, is a profession where you help clients grow. You bring new ideas. You are working to in the growth of companies, in the growth of people, in the growth of the nation. I mean, a lot of it goes to nation building. The kind of work that we do, where we help the governments with various projects. So I think it's a very exciting field. On one side, you work with a number of clients, you meet a number of people, you do cross-border work, you go international. The exposure you get in consulting, international experience is second to none.
The kind of personality, mindset that you need to have if you want to get into consulting.
All people are coming into consulting. I think the one big or a few big areas where they need to concentrate on work on is, especially in today's time,
Yeah.
you need to be an expert. Uh, I worked in the Big Four, so we had a breadth of experience. So when you go to these hardcore consulting firms or the top consulting firms like McKinsey and all that, they are more depth.
Right.
We are more breadth.
Right.
And but now I think it's the period for expertise. So you need to be depth into one particular area, and that actually helps you, takes you into a very different kind of field that you go into. And so that is one, expertise. Then the second one is, how do you deal with situations? How you are a problem solver. Today, when we go to a client, they have a problem. They don't care how you're structured, or what your
Right.
internal structure is. Solve the problem. So you have to be a problem solver. You got to be positive minded. You got to have. Obviously, these consulting firms have huge databases and resources and tools available to the consultant to help them service their client. So,
Right.
but I think for the individual, when you're asking what do they need to, it's critical thinking. How do you get critical thinking, out of box thinking, innovative mindset, not take out the fear of failure out of you. Most people don't do things because they are fearing that they will fail. And because of that fear, they don't just go ahead. So I think these are few things I would leave. And maybe, obviously, I'm not saying the very obvious, like they need to have passion, they need to have energy,
Right.
and they need to have hunger. So when you are in the consulting field, you need to go beyond. So today, in today's world with Chat GPT, etc., I mean, the client has all the answers.
Right.
Can you give something beyond ChatGPT? And I'll also tell one more thing, which, because you said personality, I think you need to make an impact.
Right.
When you walk into that room, do people feel somebody has come in? It's the way you dress, the way you come across, the way you interact, with the conversation levels that you have. So in consulting, the one thing I would tell people, be a voracious reader.
Yeah.
You have to read beyond your subject. So when you go and you're meeting a CEO, he's going to ask you various things. Okay, what's going to happen to the dollar? What's going to happen to the oil prices, the geopolitics? So you must be well read, well versed in this to have an intelligent conversation.
Right.
Otherwise, let me tell you, that will be the last cup of coffee you'll have with him
Yeah.
or her, whoever is the CEO.
Right.
So if you don't bring some value, so you need to bring value into a conversation. Yeah.
But to bring value into a conversation, what is the one skill do you think they need, or perhaps people lack? Do you think it's listening?
So I think, thanks for reminding me, I think the biggest fallacy of most people,
Yes.
I will put myself also in that category. I don't want to be this thing that is that do we have good listening skills?
Right.
So when you go to anybody, and I come from a very simple logic, I mean, you read it somewhere also, is why do people have 2 ears and one mouth?
Right.
I think it is you listen, because if you don't listen, you will never understand what the client wants.
Right.
So today, if I have to go to a client and want to understand this solution, if I keep talking, oh, this is what I've got a briefcase, I can sell you this, I'll sell you that, it's not going to help. He doesn't want it.
Right.
And you can't do a forced sale. And so I would say that it's important that consultants should learn the art of listening and listen to understand, and ask many questions as possible, because the more questions you ask, the better will be your understanding.
Right.
And you would be able to frame a better solution for the client. And that's what makes a difference between a good consultant and a normal consultant.
Now,